Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network. Tonight, the final round of the individual points races for this Casual Sim Racers League GT Series, and we head to Germany. We're at the Hockenheimring Baden-Württemberg circuit, and this is a fun, unique track. I'm a big fan of it. I don't know if it's just the German heritage I have or what, but I for some reason, I've always liked Hockenheim, both you know, when they ran it in Formula One and now here on the iRacing service. I've taken a bunch of different cars out here, GT3s, LMP2s, you name it, here around Hockenheim. And I don't know, I like the track. I don't necessarily always do good here, but I just kind of like the layout. It fits my eye maybe a little bit. Carl Handwork joined in the booth by Jimmy Cobra. Jimmy, we've certainly been to Hockenheim quite a few times, both in the booth and on the track. But these boys are going to have to take it for their final test of the season.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about last time I drove here. I was in the major accident, turn one, lab one. So yeah, there's a lot of challenges here, but definitely some some long straightaways and some very, very tight corners. So obviously turn 2 being pretty tight, and then obviously the pretty much the 180 there, which would be turn 6. So definitely some challenges for some of these drivers. Times right now looking down into the 137.9, so about 138 for the top runners. As you know, obviously the track will pose issues for especially a newer driver if you're not quite sure. There's a couple areas. I had the vet out here today, this afternoon. Matter of fact, just before we went live, and basically, what turn is it? At turn 10. It seems very unsettled. Just like you have to be careful, like letting off the gas, or the weight transfer in the car just kind of sends its rear end around. And after I did that a few times, we figured out how to get around here, and running like 139.1. So there's definitely some speed in that car, and I look forward to seeing how these drivers tackle this track, how they perform here in the final race of this. Pretty much their final race for the season. They do have a team event that will be coming up here shortly. I believe it's next week, so looking forward to seeing how they handle that as well. But right now, all about Hockenheim. I'm looking forward to see who's going to start on the pole. But right now, it's Colin Winslow.
Yeah, still got about a minute left in qualifying, plus the stoppage time, if you want to consider it that. But yeah, this is the final race of the regular season in regards to the individual points. The team points have been running all season, kind of just keeping them to the side for the time being. We'll go over those before next week's race. Next week being the 2-hour team event season finale, and that's going to be at Spa Francorchamps, and always a great time heading to there. And certainly some good fond memories over in that Belgian track for me, and I'm sure for you as well, Jimmy. Of course, I think it was a couple years ago now, celebrating the Spa 24-hour event. Man, and that was fun. It was a fun time, not just for the team, obviously getting the win, but it's kind of it's an iconic road racing track. So to get a win there is definitely big. But before we get to it here, let's take a look at the standings here for the series, and pretty much all but locked up. Looking at the both the Pro and the AM class, Craig Jancic in the lead over Chris Hamilton by 19 points. Still mathematically in the running if Jancic has a terrible race, but with the drop races, I think it's going to be a real big mountain to climb. And you can say the same thing over in the AM class. Christian Ortiz-Torres with a 24-point lead over Jim Herrick. So our points champions pretty much locked down. Craig Jansen looking to wrap up yet another championship here in the Pro. And Christian Ortiz-Torres looking to take down his second amateur class win, as he was bumped up the first time after winning it and then came back down to the AM, and now he may be looking at the bump up here one more time.
Yeah, it's always good to kind of see that progress, and obviously he's on the cutting edge between the current field dynamics and the skill levels, I guess, if you want to call it that. But it looks like we are done with the qualifying, as some of the cars are coming in for after the final lap. So that flag is flying here, as might be somebody still out there. Trying to see. I'm not seeing anybody on my map.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody.
So it looks like everybody is all finished up, and it does look like Colin is going to start in the pole here tonight, which could be beneficial, as some of these corners are a little tricky, and passing is not on the it's on a premium here tonight. So there's a few spots that you can really pass, but you definitely, when you make the pass or about to, you need to commit, and hopefully the other driver is paying just a little bit of attention to you.
Well, the thing is, it's bad enough on the opening lap, just trying to get those tires warmed up, but really, you get to turn one, and turn one's not really that difficult of a corner. I mean, you know, when you're up there to race speed to get the tires warmed up, it's not even that much of a lift off, maybe a little bit of a drag of the brake just to get you rotated, go through the corner. But when you're coming into that for the first lap on the first turn, I mean, hey, you said it yourself, the last time you were here, you get caught up in a big incident right there, because it's not easy going through too wide. Even when the tires are warmed up, it's a very tough corner, and it's not much to it as far as, you know, the angle of the corner, but it seems like it's tight when you go through there. It seems like it's really constricting when you go through turn one, and then a little bit of a straightaway before you head down to turn two, which is possibly the first passing opportunity before you head back around there, down around the parabolica and into the hairpin. So there's certainly some passing opportunities here, but you got to be tentative. You got to be careful on turn one, especially on this opening lap. But Jimmy, we are now officially done with qualifying. We got our starting order. Why don't you give us that rundown?
Yeah, let me grab that quick. Qualifying results for tonight's race here. 28 drivers in the field, and it will be Colin Winslow on the pole. Outside will be Craig Jancic, which is the leader there in the points. So good battle up front. And then you have Doug Palmer in third, and Chris Hamilton sitting there in P number 4. Devon Young and Frank Pisano. Your next row, then Bryce Rayner and Tyler Torville there for row number 4. Row number 5, Billy Wright and Christian Torres there. Row number 5, like I said. Nicholas Cody and Dan Marrera there in row number 6. Row number 7, Steve Barassa and Eli Singh. Then you have Cesar Torres and William Burrell in row number 8. Jason Potts and Ian Southern there in row number 9. Brandon Potts and Stefan Price in row number 10. Renan Dilemma and Jim Herrick back there in row number 11. Then you have Glenn Lawson and Jay Little and Ian Wilson, Paul Bailey, and Stephen Pless. So Pless not putting in a qualifying lap, maybe just feels comfortable starting in the back tonight. Maybe not too comfortable with the track, as it looks like those practice laps are a little on the low side. But you know, you got to start somewhere, Carl. You can't be afraid of the track, or you'll never be up running with these guys that are running these 137s.
No, and that's one thing that's kind of nice with the field here. And obviously, these guys over here at CSRL institute the Pro and the AM class, but they both run together. Both the Pros and the AMs are out there on the track at the same time. You know, just kind of like you see over in Core in the Xfinity series and the GT series. All the divisions are out there together, and it's not just to get that bigger size field and to make it feel like, you know, there's a ton of people out there, but it's also to give these drivers the experience, because, you know, these AM class drivers, you look at Christian Ortiz Torres that is looking to grab his second AM class title out here, but he qualified up there in 9th place, and he's actually 10th place. And he's battling for an overall 10th place position out here today. Of course, he wants to try and win the AM class, division for this race, but it's also getting him experience for most likely moving back up to the Pro class again next year. And you're not going to get any better just being the big fish in the little pond. You're not going to learn really anything. Yeah, you're maybe going to get a little bit better with the car, a little bit better with the track, but you're not going to get any better with traffic. You're not going to get any better setting up passes. You're not going to get any better finding out what those faster guys are doing. So getting out here and being, you know, a middle of the pack guy, or even, you know, a back marker, you can't be scared. And even, you know, I know sometimes some guys start from the pits. Get out there and get in the mix of it. You got to figure out how to start races at some point. So you got to throw yourself in there, be cautious, be smart, and get that thing around through lap 1 and start kind of, you know, falling into the race pace and trying to figure out what you can do on the track. Getting ready to get this thing underway for tonight's race. 45 minutes on tap as usual. Final regular season race for the individual points here tonight, and we're getting this thing ready to go. Barney has got the green flag, and he is waving it. We're racing here at the Hockenheimring.
And away they go, obviously down into that very first corner. and trying to watch to see if everybody makes it. And it does look like everybody is going to make it through the field. See anybody going off track or anything?
And so far, everybody survives. Still got some side-by-side action right up there at the front between Jancic and Winslow. But seems like everybody is going to do a good job, knock on wood, to get through the first corner. But it's like Bryce Reiner maybe taking a little bit of a spin there.
444.
Heading down into the hairpin for the first time. You see some late moves still side by side at the front between Winslow and Jancic. Winslow's going to get it done on the inside and finally make the pass. Hamilton looking to the inside there, trying to get up there as well, going through the very fast turn number 7 before you head into Mercedes and into the kind of like the stadium complex here, at least the stadium complex part 1 here, going through Mercedes and then through the turn 10 complex that Jimmy mentioned before. You see it just kind of back and forth, and yet you're really going to have to shift that weight comfortably, or that car's going to switch ends, and the back end's going to be the front end real quick. Then into Mobile 1 and into the actual stadium section here, into Sox Curve, and into turn number 15 here, and then Sud Curve will end off the lap here, and that'll be 1 lap around the Hockenheimring. And to me, again, this feels like if there was ever, obviously you got your Le Mans, you got your you got your Daytonas, you got your big name tracks, even Spa coming up next week. But to me, if I think GT3 racing, if I think GT racing in general, like, this is a kind of track that I look at. I look at these kind of tracks as being, to me, a good GT track, and even like the Nürburgring GP circuit just to me seems like those are, in my eyes, your prototypical GT tracks. I mean, yeah, Daytona is infamous with the Rolex 24 and everything like that, but to me, these are the kind of tracks that you really have to grind on, and you have to work your way on there. And I wish they had more endurance races on these type of tracks right here.
Carl, they do. They have other series. They're not special events, but they do run them either 6 hour. I've seen some 12 hours, and occasionally they'll even do a 24-hour series where it's like every other week. I don't know if I could put up with the 24-hour races every other week, but definitely some select races in there. And this is one of the tracks that I have seen on those schedules, for 24 hours. I don't know how crazy I would be about the track to do for 24 hours, but it is that option out there, and I think iRacing sees that, and that's why they put some good tracks, some tracks that you probably want to think of. I know later tonight here on not on CRN, but the core drivers over there, with even some of the drivers here from the CSRL, are going to go over the LMP2 to over to Algarve, and that was an event that was put on. It was not it was an official series, but it wasn't like a special event. But 24 hours at Algarve, it was definitely an eye-awakening moment, because that was the first race I ever raced there. But going back there tonight, we should be for some fun in the LMP2. But right now, the person having fun right now is Colin Ruiz out front of Craig Jancic.
Yeah, trying to stretch his legs.
Doug Palmer, Billy Wrights, Frank Pisano, Tyler Tarbell, Nicholas Cody, Steven Barassa, and Eli Singh. So nice. Christopher Hayes.
He did come in the pits. I did realize that, and we'll take a look back through and show you the incidents that we've seen so far. This was on lap 1, and this was a big moment there for Bryce Reiner, going off track, getting into Frank Pisano there in the Parabolica, gets back on track, gets it back going. Didn't look like too much damage, if any, to the Lambo there. And then a big moment here for Ian Southern. Sends him into the wall. He ended up towing back into the pits. The car was damaged just a little bit too much. And then another incident here in the Parabolica with Dan Herrera making, actually that wasn't him making the big move on the outside. Looks like maybe he just kind of locked up here and got into the back of Christian Ortiz Torres going into the hairpin, but nothing too dangerous there. Same thing on lap number 1. Todd Torville here on the inside, and I think this was just it's kind of locking up sometimes. SDK thinks that's an incident, but just a little bit slow around there. And then starting on lap 2, Jim Herrick. This is into turn number 1. Catch that curb just the wrong way a little bit, and that's what happens. You cannot save it. You get that back end sideways, and it's just enough cambered that it's almost impossible to get that thing saved from there. And the wall saves it for him, unfortunately, and he gets back going. This is the moment that Chris Hamilton had right here, and certainly not a fun one, but this bit of a slide right here, it was a safe slide by the safety car, and instead of going on, he decided to come right into the pits. I kind of like that move right there. You already lost a bunch of time. No sense trying kind of dealing with those angry tires, those dirty tires. Bring it right in, get your pit stop over with, and get back out there. So not a bad move there for the 20. See if it pays off for him later in the race.
Yeah, it really could there, you know, obviously, because he's now not going to have to fight that traffic. He's going to be behind, and he's going to, I mean, he'll probably catch traffic, but he won't have to deal with it all at once. I mean, be stuck in the middle of it. So 20 being able to run faster laps in the back, just be kind of a watchful eye, and maybe out of sight, out of mind right now for Colin Winslow and Craig Jancic, as they'll have to, you know, obviously check in on every now and then if they got, you know, hopefully they got a virtual spotter. But yeah, Chris Hamilton probably one to watch here for the later parts of the race when Colin and Craig actually have to take their pit stop.
Yeah, certainly it's a shame that Hamilton didn't come to the Hockenheimring here with a chance at the championship, a legit chance, I should say. I mean, you never know what could happen if, you know, if Jancic has some issues and gets in all the way to the back of this race, maybe gets into battling with Winslow or whoever, and ends up having a bad race. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but Hamilton going to need a lot of help to get himself in a chance at the championship. But you still want to go out there. You still want to kind of finish out that season on a high note, and it'd be nice to beat the beat the champ, the champ to be here with Craig Jancic, and maybe try and take the top spot if all things go well here in the second half of this race, because Colin Winslow's not exactly checking out from Jancic. He's been kind of holding steady right there at that about 6/10, 7/10 of a second lead. They're starting to pull away a bit from Devin Young in third place. He's got Doug Palmer right there behind him in fourth, and then a little bit back is Billy Wright, new one here to the series, in fifth place. So good start for the 18 machine, and well, gotta show him on screen. He's got the right number on the screen, certainly with the 18. So Billy, welcome to the series. Give you a little bit of time here.
Sorry, Billy, you're about to be plagued.
Yep, exactly. But either way, I think all in all, a pretty good start here. This is a track where turn one can happen, like you mentioned, Jimmy. I mean, turn one you can see kind of the big one at Hockenheim because of drivers not being ready, not paying attention. And really, everybody made it through until the Parabolica, which is the longest, slowest sweeping corner. Well, not slowest, but the easiest probably corner on the track. It's the longest one for sure, but there's nothing that you really have to worry about. But apparently, that's what was catching them up here on lap number one.
A squirrel, I guess. So
yeah.
It's definitely a pretty chill moment on the track. Obviously you need the run out of four, so it's obviously taking 2 and 3 correctly and getting that run out of four to get that long run all the way down through the Parabolica down into Spitz, which is turn 6, the pretty much a 180-degree U-turn here for these cars. So, but yeah, see. We talked about it earlier. We do see that Collins is in the Porsche and Jancic is in the Acura. Now, we just kind of seen it in some of the other races. While the Porsche starts off fairly strong, and it kind of fades away. So we'll see if Winslow can keep that Porsche going and keep that Acura behind him of Jancic. But definitely going to be an interesting one here. I think towards the end, these drivers have been around each other all season long, battling back and forth, and usually throw Christopher Hamilton up there in the mix. So Chris is on a different schedule, as he's going to have to work through the field just a little bit earlier, as he had to take that early pit stop. Well, I don't think he had to, but it's probably the best call, like you said.
Another one that's a shame that he didn't get to run the full season here to see what he can do for the points. Is your leader right now in the M class and out there running the Corvette, which you ran out here in a little bit of testing here, as Eli Singh is the one at the front of the boards here in the AM class, currently sitting in P8 overall. A couple spots behind on the track is Steven Borussia. He is second in the AM class, and then Dan Herrera splits second and third with Christian Ortiz-Torres there in third place and 12th place overall. So all in all, for the most part, the pro class drivers are up there at the front, occupying 9 of the top 11 spots, and then the only other 2 are Chris Hamilton and Bryce Reiner, who are back here far enough back in the pack that they're trying to work their way back to the pack right now. Chris Hamilton kind of catching up to the tail end of the field right now. You know, he's still got a few cars just kind of spread out, so it shouldn't be too difficult to maybe move around them. But it's another 11 seconds back to Bryce Reiner, so just a really rough opening lap here for the 24, or maybe I mean, looking at the pit times, it wasn't that much worse than Chris Hamilton to be 11 seconds behind him at this point. So certainly he's going to need some help to get back up there and hopefully finish up there strong. But did have a good qualifying effort. He's got the speed, but he's going to have to find it here pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to wait around forever in some of these events, but like I said, if he's already come in and got his fuel, he's already got one step ahead. And sometimes hitting early or the undercut here, it could pay off, especially if it pulls you out of the battling here, like we see between the 18, the 4, and
22.
It's only 2, so. You know, it can slow you up. I mean, or you know, if you got some people that work together, it can be faster. So it can be either way. But most of these drivers aren't helping each other out too much out there on the track. They're trying to get every position they can. They race each other pretty hard and pretty clean. I've done a good job all season long, and the field size has been great all season long. And obviously, we really appreciate that. It gives us something to talk about, but it also gives us something to click around and show the fans out there that are here supporting CRM. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody out there and say thank you for supporting all season long. Obviously, as we run this league of CSRL down to the wire here for the last single, I guess it's the last race, but it's the last single driver event here for CSRL, and obviously that team event just around the corner. So there's some good battling going on around the track. You got Billy right here holding off Frank Pisano and Tyler Torville. So some great racing around here. I'm trying to see anything else out there.
I mean, a little bit close back here if you get back to the lead here for the M class, getting closer as Eli Singh dropping back to 9th place now, and he's got a bit of company coming up with Steven Borussia as he's following around Nicholas Cote right now, right in front of him. But Borussia has been slowly trying to track down the 13 for the lead of the AM class. It is Colin Winslow in the lead, Craig Jancic, Devin Young, Doug Palmer, Billy Wright for your top 5. If you did notice, Christian Ortiz-Torres coming in early as well, so he has already taken his pit stop, and he is now back far enough in the pack that he's got no traffic whatsoever to deal with. And in fact, he's got the leaders that may end up catching him at some point if he doesn't get a move on here. So we'll see if the short pit, the early pit, whatever you want to call it here for the 11 pays off in the long run. But Jimmy, we're already coming up on 14 minutes into this race. It's starting to click by pretty quickly here tonight. Not too many issues to speak of, and for the most part, everybody playing nice for the time being, especially for the last race of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think the drivers are just out here having a pretty good time. Like you said, it's a decent track to drive. It's got its challenging spots, but I think that's what kind of makes it fun, and it's flowy, and your passing opportunities can be there without somebody making a mistake, you know. But obviously the overtaker needs to, you know, he's got to make the move to actually commit to it, you know, and make sure he races the other drivers clean. But we don't worry about that too much here at CSRL. 99.9% of the time we're talking about clean passes anyways. Occasionally maybe somebody hits something on the track or missing a braking point, but not very often here. So some good racing going on here, Carl, right now, and I look forward to watching the rest of it, obviously.
Right on board with a couple of these drivers here in the battle. Right on board there with Tyler Torville sitting in B number 7. is on board with Frank Bassano. You see turn number 1 here, just a little bit of a drag of the brake. You can let that car drift out there on those rumble strips on the outside, but it's really that inside little sausage curb you got to be aware of, and that's what, unfortunately, Jim Herrick experienced too early on in this race. Really right here, leading the way in the Porsche. Heading it down the Parabolica, just a long sweeping turn here. Certainly nothing like the Parabolica at Monza, which is a little bit tighter and goes the opposite direction, heading onto the front stretch. But this one is a long, straight, fast, well, not straight, but a long sweeping fast turn heading on down to the slowest corner of the track, the hairpin. You see pretty much full lock to the right just to get around this corner, and it's a tricky little section because you got to come out of there with speed, your full speed, even through the little kink right here, all the way till you get to Mercedes. And this is, in my opinion, one of the most difficult parts of the track. Is just this back and forth right here. You got to make sure you set the weight and you catch that curve a little bit. You see right here, a little bit tentative from Billy Wright just to make it through there and keep the thing underneath you. And here, just keep it on the track. You want to try and cut it as much as possible, but that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to drift out there, get into that kitty litter. All it's going to do is slow you down. And you head into a little bit of an oval experience here, a little bit of a bank turn to the left. And then to go through the final section that is just turn after turn coming at you before you have a double right-hander to finish off here. Try and drift this thing out there and complete your lap here at the Hockenheimring.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. This track actually is fun, especially when you get in the flow. When the tires start wearing down, things start becoming a little bit more difficult. Most turns are taken in, a lot of the tight turns are down in the turn, or like you're down in second gear. You get later in the stint, you're thinking about using first. Help that car rotate and get that launch out of the corners. But yeah, it looks like the battle here between these three is just going to continue as we move forward to the rest of this race.
Speaking of moving forward, that's what Chris Hamilton is trying to do, up to 21st position overall right now. Still 10th place in the pro class, but trying to work his way up there through the field. Hasn't really caught any kind of major traffic just yet. I mean, you see there on the track map, he's kind of, it looks like he's in the midst of it, but you see there's some good sized gaps in between, and that's what's nice. He can catch these cars. He doesn't have to worry about a battle in front of him, at least not yet. Maybe a battle coming up here between Glenn Lawson and Stefan Price up there in 18th and 19th ahead of him that he may have to kind of sort out going through there. But so far, the early pit doesn't look like he's hurting him too much. Almost hurt him a big time there with Jay Little having a bit of a moment coming out of the hairpin, but nice easy pass there for the 20. Gets him around up into 20th overall. I mean, it's tough when you have that early little incident right there. You hate having it right off the bat. It puts that just bad taste in your mouth, and you feel like, is this the way that the night's going to be? What do I got to do? And it really, you got to just try and forget it as quick as possible.
Yeah, it's obviously it sucks. Been there. You know, you start off, get some good laps in, get decent qualifying, and then you go out there and that cold temperature just gotta have the tires can really catch you off guard just a little bit, not being able to catch the weight transfer, and you find yourself going down into the pits to re-strategize, and that's what I think Chris is on right now. Obviously re-strategizing. He's got plenty of fuel for the rest of the race, and now he's just going to be, he needs to stay out, needs to keep it cool, calm, collective, keep a decent pace, and it looks like he's doing that, because back in the field he's running 130, that last lap was 138, that's 1.7, leaders are running 138.6, so a little bit faster, but running faster than 5th and currently faster than 5th and 6th place. They've only been able to reach the 139s.
Take a look back here, a bit of an incident for our AM class leader, getting way wide here, coming into the stadium section, and it allows Marussia to catch up even closer to him. And then right here, going around the Parabolica, an attempt at a pass. This was for the lead in the AM class, and looks like it was kind of like undecided. Marussia didn't know what he wanted to do, if he wanted to try and get in there. Looked like maybe he was going to try and go for the outside, thinking that the 13 was going to block the inside. It allowed both Cote and Barrera to get on by in front. Actually, I'm sorry, Marrera to get on by right there is we're still stuck in between, but still battling for the top spot overall in the M class. As we'll take you back live, and you see that gap is widened out here just a little bit more between Singh and Borussia. But Jimmy, we're about halfway through this race. It's been a good one out here. It's been a great season, and some great numbers all season long. So I think it's time we let these cars do the talking here a little bit for one more time. We give everyone out there in Sierra Nation a little love to hear it.
Love to hear it.
Sights and sounds here of the Casual Sim Racers League GT Series at the Hockenheimring Baden-Württemberg GP circuit. It's been a good one here tonight. Colin Winslow leads, Craig Jancic, Devin Young, Doug Palmer, and Billy Wright for the top 5. You see Billy Wright leading this pack right here because this is 5th, 6th, and 7th on your screen. They've been nose to tail pretty much from the beginning of this race. Best battle on the track over in the AM class. It is led by Eli Singh, as we'll get the class leaders up there on the boards for you. Eli Singh leads the way here by 4 seconds now over Renan de Lima, William Burrell for the top 3, Len Lizan and Steven Barusha for the top 5 in the AM class, as Barusha has already come into the pits. Now you see Eli Singh making that left-hand turn as well. It's one of the things we haven't talked about yet. I know we talk about it every week when it comes to the pits, but this one here is a bit tricky, and we've seen in the past drivers kind of get caught up with the entry here because it's a little bit funky, and if you take it a little bit too fast, you get off of there. It's an unsafe entry, and you're going to be stuck in the pits for a little bit longer than you expected.
Yeah, it's not super difficult as far as coming in the pits, but it can catch you off guard. You know, obviously coming off that first right-hand turn after, you know, before, there's that double right before the final stretch, so you come off that first one, and you gotta be a little bit slower so you can pull that front end of that car down into that pit lane entry and come on down and make sure you don't catch yourself speed in the pits, because that's a common thing here, you know, trying to push the limits of the car, and obviously trying to not lose any positions in the pits. So right now Carl Winslow is out on the track, but he is in heat number 8. Or Colin.
Not for family matters. Yeah, it's Colin here tonight that is leading, and he has made his pit stop, and you see he's about 14, almost 15 seconds ahead of Chris Hamilton. So Hamilton's strategy of pitting early did not get him any closer to the 19, but it's also doing part to Colin putting down the pedal tonight here, and he is really putting down some great laps, lap after lap here. He's shown that he is the one to beat for sure with that thing on the pole, and he hasn't looked back yet. That Porsche, if it is going to fall off, hasn't fallen off yet, and now coming around past the start-finish line, past the pit entry, he has got a sizable lead over Craig Jancic, and I think the reason, Jimmy, that 88 may have a penalty.
Yeah, just heard over driver chat a few drivers getting a penalty, so catching the speed in the pits grabs them again, or that, or an invalid entry, you know, whatever it may be. So that's gonna, you know, it's treacherous to some of those drivers. So we'll see how this all pans out as they are coming out, and 88 just now getting underway.
Well, what I will tell you is, unless my calculations are wrong, and again, I'm not sure because of the drop races, but if Jancic finishes down, you know, closer to like 18th position or so, given where Chris is, if Chris can somehow reel in the top 2, he has a better shot. But now that Jancic's had this issue here, it's gotten a bit interesting points-wise. He is buried back there, 14th overall right now, and at 10th place in the pro. He's got Jason Potts not too far in front of him, and this thing is far from over. We're only coming up on the 30-minute mark here. We got 15 minutes left to go, so it's maybe not far from over, but he can certainly pick off a few positions before this thing is over. But Chris Hamilton maybe having a little bit of life after it's all said and done. He's far off the pace here of the leader, Colin Winslow, 15 seconds back right now of the 19, and he's even 7 seconds back of second place, so kind of just in his own little world right now. 7 seconds ahead, 4.5 seconds behind is Billy Wright for 4th place. So all alone here is the 20, but pit penalty for the 88 is certainly the story here tonight. It's not far enough back for him to get a ding on the points championship. It looks like he's still going to be far enough ahead. Again, nothing official yet, so we'll see how this thing plays out. But you see maybe a little bit more urgency in that 88 right now in the second half of this race.
He's got to be careful. Obviously, it's like I said, it can be a difficult track to pass, but he's gonna obviously want to commit and try to do it cleanly. It's always been the way he's driven. So I don't see him worrying too much, but obviously you're going to see him under a little bit more stress than normal as he's got to work his way through the field instead of leading it from the front. So he's going to go ahead and get around Potts. He's going to hit down the Parabolica.
It's going to move him up into 13th place overall. Everyone has completed their pit stop for the race. A few drivers taking that early pit stop. We mentioned Chris Hamilton earlier. Bryce Reiner is the other one that was in on lap number 2 with Chris Hamilton, and he is back up to 10th place overall, so certainly looking to try and move his way up a little bit further. He's got Dan Morera right in front of him. Actually, 2 cars in front of him, technically. He's got the lap car of Ian Southern directly in front of him, but he's got a few positions ahead of him that he can still grab. Dan Morera right behind Eli Singh. This is the battle for 8th, 9th overall. Eli Singh, your leader in the AM class. So just trying to hold on and maintain that lead. He's got about a 6, almost 7-second lead in the AM class over Stephen Marussia, William Burrell for the top 3. And we talked about William Burrell here tonight. He's been doing fairly well. Been up there pretty much the entire race, right there, kind of just outside the top 10, but battling in 3rd place overall for the, or not overall, but in the M class. So certainly deserves his shout outs here in the 21. Won't show it too much as goes a little bit wide there in turn 1. Don't want to give him the broadcaster's curse.
Yeah, nobody wants a broadcaster's curse, bro.
So we'll go, actually, maybe we'll just go back to Craig Jancic and see what we can do. And see if we can help Chris Hamilton have a better chance of the title here. But it looks like it should be all but wrapped up for the 88s here, pending some math that isn't mathing right. But Colin Winslow looking to take it down here tonight. He has again been the fastest one pretty much this entire night, practice, qualifying, and now in the race he's been putting down great laps, lap after lap, and he is about 12 minutes plus a lap away from claiming the season-ending victory for the individual points here. Again, still got one more race coming up next week at Spa for the team championship, and we'll delve more into that next week and what the team points are looking like for that one. But right now, Colin Winslow, your leader here in the pro class. Eli Singh has got a nice sizable lead for himself as well, as he is out there. Switch over to him now, and out there to about a 6-second lead over Stephen Marussia in the AM class.
Yeah, well, again, like I said, I felt really good with the Corvette. On a car that I usually return to. I just happened to log in tonight, and I was like, I haven't been in a Corvette in a while since. Matter of fact, last time when I was in the Corvette was at Spa in the rain. So that's the last time I've driven the Corvette. And I don't.
I mean, any track in it's got to feel better than Spa in the rain with the Corvette at that point. So I felt like a dream here. But I'm already looking forward to Spa next week. It's a fun track to broadcast, and obviously a fun track to run on as well. Hopefully we can see some good battling there for the season finale, and hopefully we can still see the numbers turn out, because even if these drivers aren't involved in the team championship, they don't have a teammate, whatever, as far as I know, unless things have changed since last year, they're still invited to come out there and compete in that race just for pride and for getting out there and getting even some more practice, because ultimately it's these leagues are what you make them. I mean, some people drive in leagues because they want to win the championship. Some drivers get in there because they want to win some money, or some drivers get in it just for fun. Others get in it for practice for other leagues, or for iRacing endurance events, or iRacing weekly series. So it's whatever you make it. But to me, there's no better place to be. You get into a league, get into a good league, and you can just kind of get in there, grind your teeth, kind of feel out where you are in regards to your skill level. Get to try different things out, it's usually not going to cost you that much here at CSRL. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free to enter, so if there's any drivers out there looking to get in for next season, hop in. I mean, it's not going to cost you anything unless you're going to buy some of the tracks on the schedule, but if you do, they're yours. So, you know, you're not going anything wrong here. There's a lot of good drivers in here, but ultimately there's a lot of good guys in here, and they're willing to help. They usually have up at least 1 or 2 practices throughout the week to get ready for that weekly race as well. So it's a good atmosphere to be around. I certainly I plug it for anybody that's looking to get in some good GT racing. Whether you're an AM class driver or a pro class driver, there's certainly talent across the board from top to bottom that you'll be competing with, and you'll kind of find out where you fit in pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's always fun to roll into a league, and there's a variety of levels of skill level, you know, from some of the faster guys out there to like a good middle pack, and obviously even the driving between. Everybody goose around, calls them back markers, but there's some good racing going on back there, and this is them learning. You know, this is them being able to get out there, and you might not be winning the race, but when you get out there, Carl, and I know you've driven quite often as I have, it's you like that battle, and it doesn't necessarily need to be for first. It just you get the adrenaline rush and go side by side, or commit into a corner, and maybe you outbrake somebody or whatever it may be. It feels good. So the competition's good out here from the front to the back, and if anybody's out there now watching, interested in some GT3 racing, I mean, this is the place to come. There's definitely a good atmosphere, like Carl was saying, some good racing out here, and it's not a super long season. What was it, 10 weeks? 11 weeks, something like that in total. I think with the special event.
It'll be 9, actually 9 including next week. Yep, this is round number 8.
Yeah, so we get just a quick 9 races. So, and then turn right around. I'm sure they've already got something in the works. Maybe you take 1 week off and then right back at it. So there's a reason the drivers that are here always keep coming back. So they like it here, and the driving's good, the racing's good, and just having a good time. So, but right now it's still calm Wednesday, not Carl Wednesday. Doug Palmer, Chris Hamilton finds himself in P3, and it does look like I thought he was gaining just a little bit. I think he's gaining just here and there, but then I think he's losing here and there as well. So staying pretty consistent at that 6.6 seconds right now. He was at 6.8 there for a while, a couple laps ago. So I think he's trying his best and running out of time here as the race is coming down to an end.
Well, if there's one thing we can say, and Jimmy will, I'll ask you after I mention it here. If there's one kind of takeaway, if there's one thing for any of the drivers out there that are watching, or the drivers that are in the field right now, rewatching the broadcast, is the one thing I could say for league racing and for especially GT racing and any racing, stick with it. Stay with it. If you wreck early, you have some issues early, it doesn't matter. Is it going to suck being out there and running towards the back? Yeah, it's never great. It's never fun doing that, but quitting out is not going to help. And not to shine him in a bad light here, as one of the series sponsors here for quite some time, Jim Herrick and 40 Racewear. Jim, you seen crash on lap 1, looped it in turn number 1, hit hard, crashed hard, and he is back here, last in line of the cars that are running, in 26th position right now, and of course on cue, he's going to go ahead and drop out. But I mean, it just goes to show you, like he was still running. He had nothing really at that point, position-wise, to run for. It's just get out there and finish out the race, because even those laps that you're running back there in dead last, even if you're 30 laps down. I mean, how many times, Jimmy, have we been in endurance races where early on we get wrecked out? I mean, look at this past week in the Bathurst 12-hour, we get dropped down 11 laps, less than 2 hours into the race, and we stuck with it, and we finished 11 laps down because there was no quit in the team. You get out there, you finish what you started, and at the very least, you're going to get more laps in the car. You're going to get more time on the track, and it's only going to make you better. You're not going to get worse by turning more laps. So there's no reason to, you know, just, I understand frustration sets in, especially when you have the incidents early, but you're not gaining anything from just getting mad and hopping out. Okay, well, I'm done for the night. I'm mad. What's it going to get you? It's not going to get you anything. Jimmy, is there something that you can kind of give these drivers as a little takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with Carl. Did not race in the same event as Carl did and getting dropped back, but it was another event at for the special 12-hour Bathurst, and turn one, incident occurred. Drove up to first and ended up somebody tagging us and getting a new ball. Ended up dropping all the way from first all the way down to 31st. So, and then coming back and finishing in the top four, finishing fourth place. So you just got to keep at it with these cars. You can't give up. You got to get out there. You got to put your time in on the track. It's kind of like a passageway to just being better. No matter what the car, obviously more cars just makes you more well-rounded, and some people just specialize in just one car. But knowing what the other cars do, especially if you multi-car race, really benefits. When you're taking lines, like if I go around this corner and I'm in a faster car, should I go around the outside? Well, if I know that the GT3 car pushes out, that move might be a bad one, and you might wreck. So you might need to wait a little bit and then go on the inside. So just knowledge, knowledge is power. Obviously, we say that a lot, but coming down to the last minutes here, it looks like we got about 2 minutes remaining. So another lap or two, and we'd be looking at a winner here. Does look like Craig Jancic has moved his way up to P11 after falling back in quite a ways, but it's still Colin Winslow, Doug Palmer, Christopher Hamilton, Billy Wright, Tyler Torville, Frank Pisano, Nicholas Cody, Dan Mora, Bryce Rayner, and Eli Singh, and then Craig Jancic. So top 10 still looking strong as Craig trying anything he can to get every position to not throw away that championship, I guess.
Well, he's got Devin Young behind him. I don't think Devin Young's too happy that he sees another Acura right there in front of him as Jancic just recently made the pass. But Jancic has got a little bit more speed here tonight than the 15 does, and he's going to try and check out here and maybe have a run yet at our AM class leader, that being Eli Singh. Not too far up the road. But that big stumble over the sausage curve there for Devin Young in the background. But Jancic may have a chance here yet at a top 10 after the pit road cafe here, and getting the pit road penalty. It's certainly not great when you have that big old penalty, and that's what Devin Young had as well, and that's why he was so far behind Chris Hamilton. Looking at it right now, he had a pit road penalty as well. So both Craig Jancic and Devin Young right together at the end here. It kind of makes sense because they were both right at the front before they made their mistakes on pit road, but it's him closing in, and maybe both will have a chance to battle for that top 10 before this thing is over. But I don't think we didn't get the white flag just yet, so it should be white flag this time by for Colin Winslow, as he has been absolutely dominating here tonight, and certainly for his fans out there. I know Jerry's always out there rooting him on clearly to try and get this thing done, and he's looking like pretty much impossible to beat. The only one that's going to beat him tonight is himself, as he has been fast all night. He's got a 12-second lead over Doug Palmer in second, who was not exactly a slouch here tonight. Palmer qualified third, and he is just getting outschooled, as is everybody else in the field here tonight, as Colin Winslow is going to come around this time by white flag in the air. One more lap to go here at Hockenheimring for the 19 to try and take home the win here. Doug Palmer, Chris Hamilton, Billy Wright, and Tyler Torville for your top 5.
And you talk about drivers not quitting. We only have 2 drivers that are 3 drivers right now that aren't out there running laps. Obviously, Stephen Plessia, I see his car has a meatball, so either didn't have his fast repair or it ran out, and white flag is flying right now as they go by. I see back there with Barney. Jim Herrick does have a black flag, but he's towing at the moment, so who knows what happened to him. Ian Southern, I've seen him go off track a little while ago, and obviously back there. But other than that, still 25 drivers out here just plugging along, and only 2 of those 25 drivers are one lap down.
We'll take a look at the AM classes. They're on their final lap now as well. Battle right here. This is for 10th place. See Craig Jancic gets around. This is 10th, 11th, and 12th in the running. But the man right there on the screen on the inside here on the Parabolica, that is Eli Singh. Here's your AM class leader. And of course, he wants to try and battle with these guys to try and get a top 10. But he's also right in the mix of a battle between Jancic and Devin Young for position. So you see Eli Singh just kind of got to back out of it. We'll try and go for the crossover. Not going to be there with the Corvette, but this does allow Steve Marussia to close in just a little bit. So one little bobble here on this last lap by Eli Singh, and Marussia may have a big old comeback here to try and get the win. But either way, now at one point after these pit stops, he was about 6, almost 7 seconds behind Eli Singh. He's closed it now down to 2.7 seconds. So he found something in the second half of this race. It's going to be a little too late situation for him. William Burrell, Jason Potts, and Glenn Lazan currently in your top 5. But coming around. And okay, this was after the race. Okay, yeah, I thought I missed him there, but yeah, the winner here tonight is going to be none other than Colin Winslow getting it done. Doug Palmer, that was after the checkered flag there. Chris Hamilton going to grab 3rd. Billy Wright coming by, he's going to grab 4th. Frank Bassano, good run for the 4, grabbing a top 5 here tonight. Eli Singh is not going to get the top 10, but he is going to get the top spot in the AM class as he is going to finish in 1st place, 12th place overall for Eli Singh. In the 13, Stephen Marussia going to come home in 2nd. William Burrell, Jason Potts, as they're dodging the guys celebrating here at the end. And then Glenn Lazan now coming around the final corner as he had a heck of a battle with Tyler Torville coming down to the wire. But Glenn Lazan going to get that top 5 here tonight in the AM class. Got to give it to these guys, and yeah, like you said, Jimmy, three cars retiring out of 28 is awesome. That's what you like to see. Yeah. You love to see it. I know it's only a 45-minute race, but a lot can happen in a 45-minute race. And you know, again, you can have the guys that just get frustrated because they got, you know, involved in an incident early, or they threw it away early and they decided to quit out. Again, you're not gaining anything from that. So love to see that many cars finishing out this race and finishing out the season. Hopefully we get some good numbers next week as well. But for tonight, this was a good one.
Yeah, definitely a good one here to finish up the season. Carl Winslow pulling off that win. Obviously, Doug Palmer and Chris Hamilton. So congratulations to your top 3. And then obviously your AM top 3, Eli, Steven, and William Burrell, all in there. That's what it looks like, yeah, for the top 3. So
yeah, it looks like we're finished with the race results. So Jimmy, why don't you give us a full rundown of tonight's results?
A rundown of the race results here are going to be Colin Winslow, Doug Palmer, Chris Hamilton for your top 3. Billy Wright, Frank Pisano, Tyler Torville, Nicholas Cody, Bryce Rayner, Dan Marrera, and Craig Jancic will route out your top 10. Then Devon Young, Eli Singh, Steven Barusa, William Burrell, Jason Potts, Glenn Lazan, Todd Torville, Stephon Price, Cesar Torres, and Christian Torres will be your top 20. And Jay Little, Renan Dilemma, Ian Wilson, Brandon Potts, Paul Bailey, Jim Herrick, Ian Southern, and Stephen Pless to finish out your 28 cars here tonight.
So what we will do is, since of course our 2 championship drivers decided not to finish that well here tonight and get on the podium here, so we'll save the unofficial championship interviews till next week, till everything is officially finalized, and we'll talk to most likely Craig Jancic in the pro class and Christian Ortiz Torres in the AM class and get their interviews. We'll keep the limelight on our top finishers here tonight for the race here at Hockenheim, and it looks like we got pretty much everybody ready to go here. So we'll go ahead and start off with the pro class, since it looks like they're a little bit more ready to go. And
as you said, they're all. Oh, that's Jim.
yeah, so it looks like Looks like we got everybody in here, so we'll go ahead and start with the pro class here tonight, and it was a heck of a comeback for a third-place finish for the 20 of Chris Hamilton. Chris, we've seen the lap 1 incident there in the final corners. You slid sideways. You made a split-second decision to take it right into the pits right at that time. Was that, I assume that was kind of just ad-libbed right there. I assume you weren't trying to come in on lap number 2 there, but it just kind of made sense.
Truth be told, I have no idea how I did that. Just, I saw P3 and I was like, what? Okay, let's not try to mess this up. But yeah, it was just trying to salvage after that unfortunate error. I feel like I haven't been able to drive very well.
I mean, it stinks when you had the week off last week, and not that took you out of the points. I mean, Craig had another fantastic season, but I mean, you maybe had a bit of a chance here tonight. Craig throws it into the pits and gets the pit road penalty. He fell way back in the field. Were you taking an eye on that as well, or were you kind of just head down trying to make your way back up through this field?
Head down, trying to make my way back up. I heard Craig said he had a penalty, and then many other guys had a penalty. P3 went across my leaderboard, and I'm like, what? I didn't care what the leaderboard said until that very moment. I knew I was behind. I knew I needed to make something up, and when it said P3, I'm like, all right, let's try to not mess this up, because I've been the king of that recently. Shoot. Sorry, Carl. I still feel bad about the Bathurst thing, but hey, we'll take it.
Well, I brought it up. I didn't throw your name out there that you're the one that put us 11 laps down, but if we're going to put everything out on the table.
No, it's already documented and everything. I knew it was my fault, so that's a discussion for another day. We were 11 laps down, and the only person that put his lap down was me, so that was the weakest link. But as far as this race is concerned, salvaging is what I needed to do. As soon as I saw that mistake, I was like, and then I thought about getting back on the track, and there was just a line of cars. I didn't want to mess their races up, so I just said, okay, I don't think I'm going to get an unsafe pit entrance from the right side, because a lot of guys were getting unsafe pit entrances from the left side. So yeah, we just made our way back up and just kind of kept it out of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it made sense. As soon as I seen you go in there right away, it made sense to me for you to just duck right in there. It's especially that early on in the race, because you know you're going to come out there and you should have a ton of clean track. And by the time you catch up to the field, it seemed like, once you did catch the back of the field, it wasn't too bad. Like, you didn't really have that many battles. It was already kind of spread out by the time you caught up to him. So did you have any kind of issues coming up through there? Any people that were battling that you kind of maybe got held up a little bit and lost your chance at the top two?
Truthfully, no, I don't think so. I was more worried about, they're running their race, and I didn't want to screw them up. I think I messed up a battle. I'm sorry to those boys, whoever that was, that I was just trying to catch back up. But my race was way at the front, and I don't know how spread out they were. I don't keep the relative. I only keep the relative up. I don't know any kind of leaderboard standing, so that's why it was such a shock to me when I heard Craig got a penalty and many other pro drivers got a penalty. And I was like, okay, then, I will take this. I don't know if I deserve it, but I will not going to say no.
Yeah, never going to shy away from a podium for sure. So congrats on the comeback here to get yourself up into third place. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to before we let you go?
Huge shout out to Parks Taylor Cruz for this lovely iRacing safety car paint scheme. I really do like it. It's great. Huge shout out to the boys here at CSRL for having me. I know I missed a week last week, but they seem to always welcome me with open arms. Sometimes with disgruntled faces when I send it 3 wide on lap 1, but the we'll keep on trucking and going on. I don't know what the points looks like, and we're probably not going to find out until next week. So I don't know what Craig didn't even know what his minimum was. And yeah, thanks you guys for the broadcast. Couldn't do it without you guys.
I appreciate that, buddy. Like I said, congrats again on your top 3 here tonight. Whether it was gifted to you or not, you still had to drive that thing back through the field. So take some time, take some congratulations, and maybe we'll see you next week at Spa.
Yeah, I should be here. It'll be a fun race. No points.
Let your hair down. Let your hair have a little fun.
Whatever hair I have left, we'll do it.
All right, buddy. We'll catch you next week.
All right. Here's to it.
That is your third place finisher in the Pro Class tonight, the 20 of Chris Hamilton. Second place is going to be the 12 of Doug Palmer.
Hey, Doug, Jimmy, and Carl, up in the booth, you copy?
Yep, I got you.
Hey, definitely an interesting race for the last and final race of the season. Why don't you give us a rundown of how your night went for you?
Pretty basic. I mean, I started the race, I forgot to shift, so that was fun. Dropped back to a couple positions, and then pretty much just held pace with who was it? Devin, who was in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of keeping a gap there, and then as soon as we pit, I was just doing a little fuel saving. I knew he went way wide on that pit entry, so I know I gained a position there, and I was just kind of doing my own thing there at the end, just cruising. Came home to P2, so that was nice.
Yeah, Chris was trying to hunt you down, but you had enough pace to stay in front of him. And obviously, Colin was out there doing his own thing here tonight, just like he has on a few tracks. But overall, you did a great job, and it's fun to watch everybody. And such a unique and staple track there that we have in iRacing. So again, congratulations, and obviously from us and everybody else out there. But also give you some time for any shots they may have on that car.
Thank you. No real shouts. Just thank you for having me. It's been fun. I know I joined late in the season, but tried to make the most of it. Backed out a couple times because I didn't want to mess up people's lead battles, going for the championship and everything. But it was fun coming from the back of the pack a couple races.
Yeah, it's always a challenge. You challenge yourself with things like that, and obviously, hopefully, you'll be here next year or next season, and be able to maybe enjoy a few more races and get yourself involved, and maybe even get yourself a chance at winning the championship yourself. So, but either way, you had a great finish here tonight. Whether people had pit penalties or not, sometimes you gotta take what you get. But again, congratulations, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Thank you. You have a good evening.
You too.
That is your second place finisher in the Pro Class tonight, Doug Palmer in the 12. Winner is going to be Colin Winslow in the 19. Just absolutely feeling it here tonight. I mean, what was it about that Porsche? Is it the Porsche just kind of being at home here at Hockenheim? Did you just kind of feel this track? You were fast here all night.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know how much of it was the Porsche. I saw on the officials it was mostly dominated by Lambos, Acuras, and Porsches, but yeah, it just felt good to me. I enjoy driving the Porsche, so obviously with my only choices being the Porsche and Mercedes, the Porsche was the obvious choice for tonight.
I mean, it worked for you. You were not just fast in the race; you were fast in practice, fast in qualifying. Put that thing on the pole here tonight, and obviously the typical lap 1, lap 2 battles right there with Jancic in the beginning of the race. But ultimately, once you kind of took that lead, you didn't really look back. It was kind of held steady there at 0.7 seconds for quite some time. Yeah, I know he had the pit road penalty that really took him out of it, but ultimately, even if he was still out there, I think it was going to be tough getting around you here tonight.
Yeah, I kind of went into tire saving mode, fuel save just a little bit as well. As long as I could maintain that 1 second gap, I was doing my best to just keep him just out of draft, because the Porsche is still probably the roughest on tires. So that was my focus as soon as I got the lead. After lap 1 was just try to save tires as much as possible.
Yeah, that was going to kind of lead into my next question is how much that Porsche fell off. It seems like that's kind of been the running theme with the Porsche. It's fast early and then just kind of falls off, and it's just kind of hanging on and trying to hang on to your positions from there. So I guess it kind of worked out nicely. You didn't have to battle too much once the Porsche maybe fell off there. Did you feel the tires getting a little bit worse towards the end?
I did. I actually took left side tires in my pit, and it felt brand new after that. This is such a left side heavy track, so honestly, towards the end of that race, I could have matched my best lap in the last few laps, but I was just kind of taking it easy. But yeah, the tires definitely fell off. They always do in the Porsche, and it's mostly the fronts. You just lose so much turn in, which was really costing me through that last sector. because it's so dependent on your front end through those last 2 turns.
Well, maybe just a little bit too little, too late when it comes to the points here. I mean, you get your win, you get your second win here on the season, and only Craig Jancic having more wins here on the season. But certainly, your fans out there, I know Jerry and Gianna were certainly cheering you on and happy to see you get that 19 back in the victory lane here. So we will we'll give you some time here. Congrats on the win. Who do you want to give a shout out to or celebrate?
Yeah, shout out to my mom and my dad, my grandfather are all watching. Shout out my fiance Kaylee, and then shout out, I think one of my friends, McDade, he's watching, so if he's listening right now, shout out to him as well.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats on finishing out the season here with a win for the last race of the individual points. So will we see you out there for next week for the team finale as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll catch you out there at Spa so you can go back to finish this thing out, and maybe give a little shot to Craig here before this season ends and get you ready for next season.
Word. Sounds good, boys.
That is your winner here tonight in the Pro Class and overall, the 19 of Colin Winslow. Switching now over to the AM Class, and third place here tonight with a great run is going to be the 21 of William Burrell.
Hey, how's it going, Carl?
Hey, we'll just try to catch up and see that you got a really good finish here tonight at the old Hockenheim. So just wanted to get your side of the story and how everything went for you tonight.
Man, it was a good race, actually. I've had a couple other races this season at Hockenheim with Core, and so I was somewhat familiar with the track. Colin and Renan in the CSRL, they've been helping me a lot this year before each race. Oddly enough, not this race, but they've been helping me with braking and things like that, and it's really been helping out a lot. I can't thank those guys enough, and then the other guys on Core too. Man, all those guys have been helping me, and it's just all seems like it's kind of coming together a little bit. It seems like I kind of plateaued for a while, and I just can't get better. And the guys in the CSRL, they're all good, and I feel like a true AM in there, and it's no disrespect to those guys, but every time I feel like I take a step up, man, those guys take 2 steps up, and I'm just doing my best to stay with them.
Yeah, I mean, you did. I mean, obviously, from the beginning, and and I know you run over in Core with us. It's good to see you out there and continue to learn and get the time on the track. Whether it's in the GT3s, the Olympic 2s, or whatever you may select to drive. But definitely, did a great job. And and if another league helps out with familiarity around the track, it usually does benefit the next time you go there, because you just get a little more confident. I know it does for myself. So, but you did a great job tonight, and so we wanted to say congratulations, and we also want to give you a little bit of time for any shots you may have in that car.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This is my second podium, and my first one I got excited, and I forgot to thank probably the most important person in my life, and that's my wife for letting me do this. My wife, Carol.
Good job.
Yeah, she didn't. She goes, you thanked everybody else? And I'm like, and I was just kind of freaked out. I didn't know Carl at the time, so the whole thing was like so new. And, I actually had a sheet of paper, and I forgot to put wife on it. And and I'll tell you, she really has been supportive of this and the time that I've put into it, and I can't thank her enough. And this is going to be odd too, but my mom, she follows all my racing. She prints out all 4 schedules that I race, and she watches without fail. And I actually appreciate that. And I had 2 other friends that live up in Ocala watching tonight, and that's Chloe and Malou. And I have a lot of family that support my hobby, and that's pretty awesome. Going down the list just a little bit further, Simcraft, I have one of their rigs, and it's the best. I don't do it justice, but I know they had sponsored this year, which I thought was pretty awesome. And, they put together a really nice machine. And if you're in the Atlanta area, I suggest hitting them up. They'll give you some test drives. But Carl knows this, and I'm probably going to be down for a little bit. I'm having some knee surgery tomorrow, and if that all goes well, I hope to get back to this and get back into 4 racing and get back in the swing, and hope to be on some more podiums. So I appreciate you guys doing the coverage, and thank you.
Well, I wish you the best of luck in your surgery, and if it's your left leg, maybe you can just get out there and get some one leg driving in.
Yeah.
It's definitely a challenge if you haven't already. I will tell you that because sometimes I think I have arthritis in my ankle, so I probably have to have something done to it eventually. So I find myself every now and then doing 1 foot driving. But either way, I wish you the best of luck, a speedy recovery, and again, congratulations on that 3rd place finish. And we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much.
That is your 3rd place finish here tonight in the AM class, the 21 of William Burrell. 2nd place in the AM class is going to be Steven Borussia in the 144. And Steven, you started 13th, you finished 13th, but it was anything but just a cakewalk here tonight. It was certainly an up and down race for you in that 144, and you found yourself with maybe a slight glimmer of hope to try and get the top spot in the AM class here in the late running. But take us through your race and how it went for you in that Audi tonight.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, it was a bit touch and go. It was hard to keep the car underneath me. If I'm honest, I got lucky. Carlos got caught with a 40-second penalty in the pits. If it wasn't for that, he probably would have been way ahead of me. Yeah, but it was pretty good after the pit stop. I managed to find some pace in the car. I was kind of just hoping Eli might get into a little bit of trouble because he was running a good race. But, you know, at the end, he managed to pull it out. It was all around. It was a pretty good race.
So, I mean, at the end of the race there, you were about 6.5 seconds back once the pit cycle kind of finally worked its way through from Eli Singh, and then towards those last couple laps as he was dealing with the pro class drivers trying to overtake him for the top 10 spots. Did you feel like maybe you had a shot if there was one little mistake in those last couple laps?
Yeah. I figured when he started catching into traffic and he started getting into trouble, I thought there might be some hope, but it didn't pan out, and you know he managed to keep it going. So all the props to him. He ran a great race tonight.
Yeah, and yours wasn't exactly that bad as well. Again, you know, starting 13th, finishing 13th, the second in the AM class, and you know, just outside the top 10 here overall. So it's got to feel like a pretty good success here tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, much better than last week. I didn't crash to the top of the mountain this time, so yeah, it's definitely better when you finish them than when you crash out. So it was definitely a good night.
Well, that's all it'll be. Just got to find the tracks that have no undulations, no mountains, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, the perfectly smooth ones. Yeah. We could just keep running those. That would be great.
All right, well, I'll let Jim know you want like, you know, centripetal circuit next season, everything like that. We'll keep it nice and simple.
That would be great.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats on the second place finish here tonight. It was certainly well deserved and a good run there in the Audi. So, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to before we let you go?
Just like to give a shout out to everybody. I'd like to give a shout out to you guys for having me. Greatly appreciated, and I'll be back for the next season.
All right, sounds good, buddy. We'll see if you can get up there and get some wins next season. We'll get to talk to you a little bit more. But either way, enjoy the off season, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Have a good night.
You too, buddy. That is your second place finisher in the AM class, the 144 of Steven Borussia. Last but not least is going to be Eli Singh. Jimmy, he is your winner in the 13 and the AM class.
Hey, Eli, Jimmy, and Carl up in the booth.
Hold on, I dropped them back down. Let's try that again. There we go.
Hey, Eli, this is Jimmy and Carl. Do you copy?
Howdy. How we doing, guys?
Hey, welcome back. It's good to see you back out on the track again. Obviously, sporting the vet. I had a feeling this evening when I joined as because I usually just join as a watch, but I like to go out there early, pretty much when you guys start. But I usually end up running some laps to see how I kind of fall in play there. And running the Corvette is I found turn 10 to be kind of tricky, and I was just kind of curious. You walk away with the AM winner here tonight, but did you have any issues out there?
I mean, for me, it's just, the final 2 quarters of the track were really difficult for me to navigate. The rest of the track, honestly, really wasn't that bad. It was way better than McLaren. I tried some laps in the McLaren. And I was like, no, I'm not trying this again. It was brutal. I could not keep it out of traction control. So the Corvette was a little bit easier for me. And, I mean, it's my, a race back after I've been gone sick for a whole month. So, it's cool to, get a win on my first race back.
It's definitely, good to see you back out here and whatnot. And
you find yourself running amongst a lot of the platinum drivers. And I know right there towards the end, you had Jancic and a few others. And, I think we've talked to you before. You know that your race isn't with them. So sometimes, most of the time, you just kind of like let them go by, if you're really kind of holding them up. But do you feel that maybe it's time to move on and move up with the pro guys?
I think at some point, sure. I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but because every single time I look at the qualifying, I'm still always below all of them, but I'm also above all of the amateur class. So I'm in this like exactly where I need to be kind of spot, Right. So who knows though? I mean, I only got a chance to do 6 out of the 9 races this season, unfortunately. So, we'll see. We'll see how that season goes. I'm excited for a spot next week, the team race. That I'm really excited for.
Yeah, everybody likes a good spa. I know I've seen you out on the track, out in officials, and if I'm not mistaken, even in a special event. So I know we've been on the track together. Yeah, your name is super familiar. So I know for a fact we've ran against each other out on the track. But it'd be good to see you out there. I know Spa's one of those big ones. That 24-hour special event. Last year they implemented that rain and really threw it at us last year, but definitely is going to pose a lot of good, I think, battles, and it's just an iconic track to have like a special event, or I guess if that's what you guys want to call it, but a team event, and always wanted to. It's hard to get leagues to run longer races as it is because the time commitment, and obviously if you do team events, you're looking at double the amount of people. Yeah. So it's definitely a very unique feature and opportunity for leagues to do that, and that's a great idea that CSRL has, and I really hope it goes down and it's very successful. And I wish you the best of luck, obviously. But before we'll let you out of here and whatnot, we want to say again congratulations on your AM win here tonight, and give you some time for any shouts you might have.
Yeah, obviously, big shout out to the pun crew. We all had a bit of a rough time at Bathurst, but a lot of them came out to support tonight, which I really appreciate. And of course, my co-driver, Mr. Z, who's always coming out to help out. Shout out to Moradness as well, always. And to you guys in the broadcast booth, thanks for doing what you do. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, again, congratulations, and appreciate all the shout outs, and look forward to seeing you out there, and hopefully see you next week in the special event and get the chance to talk to you all again. And we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Thanks so much.
That is your winner here in the AM class tonight, the 13 of Eli Singh. Want to thank all the sponsors here for the Series 40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 sim racing shoes, custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, while still providing the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products, including the original racing gloves for your feet. At SimCraft, they create the most advanced customizable simulators for drivers and enthusiasts alike. Whether you're a professional racer looking for precision training or a home user seeking an immersive experience, SimCraft delivers unparalleled performance. SimCraft is trusted by real-world professionals with over 74 client championships, including 18 and 2024, including a third place here tonight for William Burrell. You hear him plugging them as well. Their advanced simulators provide unmatched precision and performance, empowering drivers to excel at every level. Join the ranks of champions who rely on SimCraft to elevate their training and development. For Martin PC, they are focused on providing high-quality PCs, rigs, and components at an affordable price. Your investment in sim racing is exactly the same as racing with an actual car. They make that same methodology at Martin, from the engine PC to the chassis, rig, pedals, wheels, and shifter. You deserve components that match your desire to compete. One more time, I want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. If you haven't done so, hit that like and subscribe, get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. But for myself and Jimmy here at the Hockenheimring, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.